you can see that I have a little bit of highlight right here at the top of her head. And I need to come back in with my FS9 and just get right underneath that hairline. And you can see the highlight right here, and then the highlight on the top. So now that we have her hair and her skin done, let's work on the flower. And for the flower, I'm going to use LG4 and LG5 for the leaf and the grass. So I'm going to do the grass first. Instead of doing any blending, I'm just going to do a straight color right underneath here. For the leaf, I'm going to put some strokes of dark green, and I'm going to color the rest in with LG4. So it makes a nice blending color. For the flower, I'm going to use DR5, DR3, and DR1. So starting with my darkest color, I'm going to go in right, very little, right here on the edges of the petals. Coming in with DR5, with DR3, I'm going to extend that color out ever so slightly. I'm just going to blend this in so that I have a very nice contrast. And then I'm going to finish off everything with DR1. So bring that color in with your lightest. And I know at first it doesn't look like it's blending properly, but once it dries, you can most definitely see where your darker and your lighter colors are. For the ladybug, I'm just going to use DR5 and color that in. And I'm going to use my True Black marker to put little dots on the ladybug. Ever so little. There we go. And we use DR1 for the head here. Oh, we forgot the stem as well. So for the stem, I'm going to use LG5. And I'm going to... Sometimes it's easier to use the wide end because it has a sharper point. So I hope you're enjoying following along with me. And we are almost done with this one. Let's do her wings first. So I've decided that I didn't really want to put any color on her wings because her dress is going to be a very nice Christmassy color-ish, and it's going to match the flower. So for her wings, I'm going to use a gray color. So I'm going to use IG2 and IG1. So with IG2, I'm going to come around here on the bottom of it, and I'm also going to put a little bit right down this line, right in the center, just to give it a little bit of dimension. I'm also going to put some IG2 right here on the folds. I'm going to bring that up. Okay. When you're working with dark colors in your shadows, you really don't need a lot. And now I'm going to come in and push this color out with my IG1. And I'm going to use my other end, because this end seems to be come in and drag this color out. And IG1 happens to be my favorite light gray to use for snowflakes, because when it dries you can barely see, and you can see right here that the tint is slowly not coming through right there. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So ever so slightly bring that color out, very, very lightly. And when it dries, you can see the little bit of shadow that is in there. For her headband, I'm going to use one solid color for this one. And I'm going to use PP6 for her headband. And I'm going to use one color for this. So I'm going to come in and just do some basic coloring in there. I'm going to use DR3 for the heart. And I'm going to use DR5 for the other jewels there, just to give it a little bit of pop. For her dress, I'm going to use the same colors as the flower. And I'm going to do the sleeves in the same color as the grass. So LG5 and LG4. And we're going to do the sleeves first, only because there's only 2 of them there, and they're really small areas. So taking my LG5, I'm going to come up here very, very, very carefully, right underneath this sleeve. Come down just a little bit in between the buttons. And then I'm going to use my LG4 and blend that right in. Now, if you're needing practice with your markers, any image would do just to practice. There are a whole bunch of YouTube videos that you could watch that shows how to blend properly, especially on the official YouTube channel of Spectrum Noir. And as you can see, that my blending here has got it nice and smooth. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Now, because of this right here, underneath, I'm going to use LG5. And then we're going to put the little bit of shadow right here. And I'm going to use LG4 again. And bring that color out. Just like this. And I guess that we could do the hem of her dress as well in the same colors. So I'm going to do LG5 again. And we're going to do the same thing that we did with the sleeve. So ever so slightly, I'm going to come in and put my LG5 in there, like that. And now I'm going to go over the whole thing in LG4. Sometimes it's really hard to keep your cap straight. So we're going to do LG4 here. And I'm going to come in and blend that right in. Other mediums you could use for coloring, if you have Tim Holtz Distress Markers, those are used for watercoloring. I really love the colors that he have. They're very vibrant. They're very pretty once dried. But again, the cost of them is somewhat on the pricey side. So I only have very few of those markers. I'm going to come in and do that as well. Okay. Let's do her dress now. So using the same colors that I did with the flower, we're going to come in with DR5, and I'm going to, right here, I'm going to, on the folds of her dress, right here, to give it some highlight, and right here under her wings, underneath her collar over here. And again, you don't really need to use a lot of dark color. So using my DR3, I'm going to come in and blend that in slightly, just to draw that color out. Just like that. And you can do however you want to. I'm going to use my DR3 up here, right on the shoulder. Drag this color out just a bit more. Okay. I'm going to come in with DR1 now. we're going to fill in those areas. Come in and color right over here. And blend all that color in. Again, the more saturated your paper is, the easier it is going to blend. So I'm just going to bring that color down. Make sure everything is nice and even. And I'm going to bring that into there and down here. And I've noticed that I missed her other hand down here as well. And we'll get that in just a minute. Come up here, right underneath her sleeve. I think I'm going to put a little bit of shadow right here. Just for extra emphasis. But right now it's looking really pretty. Again, I could have used a darker red color for this, but I think it would be a little bit too dark for it. And I don't really like to use too many dark colors when I'm coloring. Okay. And let's finish up her collar over here using the same green that we used. So I'm going to use LG5 and come in right here. And then with my LG4. Let's do her hand over here. So using FS9, come in here right underneath there. And then with FS4, I'm going to drag that color out. Feel free to go over it as many times as you want to. And then I'm finishing this off with FS1. I'm just going to go over the whole thing. Just like that. And again, it will look better when it dries, when the ink dries. For her jewels or for the circles on her dress, I'm going to come in with a very light blue, just for a little pop. And I'm going to use IB2. I'm going to come in here and fill those circles in. Here. And keep filling in these circles just like this. And it has a very nice contrast with the green. And we'll do the collar over here as well. And there we have it. It is our very first finished color tutorial. I will put all the marker colors in the description below. Please leave a comment, and your feedback would be much appreciated for this. Again, excuse all the wobbling. I'm doing this on my tablet, and I didn't know how well this was going to work until I can get a document cam. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.